Self-doubt is a crazy thing. It can control a lot of aspects of your life if you don't consciously make the choice to not let it. And that's something I really want to talk about in this video is the power of detachment and how much self-doubt has actually been holding you back in your day-to-day life. How much it's been delaying your goals and how a lot of people actually unconsciously put out, I should say, that energy of self doubt into the field without even realizing it. And then they wonder why shit isn't happening for them, why their goals aren't manifesting, why their life remains the same. It's because their self concept doesn't align with what it is that they want in life, right? So if you don't actually believe that you're worthy of experiencing certain things and you experience self doubt regularly and your thoughts are primarily surrounded by the idea of self doubt and questioning whether or not you're making the right choices, taking the right steps towards your goals, hanging around with the right people. You know what I'm saying? Coming this way. Thank you.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Thank you so much. Mhm. Man, apologies. Just in Indonesia right now. Man, love these people out here. Like, seriously, can't compare to North America at all. At all. It's funny because, you know, as I said, like I'm in Indonesia right now. I've been just traveling around the world, and there have been many instances as I look back on my past where I had this desire of, just being able to travel and feel this sense of freedom and, experience new cultures and expose myself to new energies to essentially expand my perception of the world and myself. And although those were the things that I wanted, I didn't believe they were achievable. There was a lot of self-doubt as far as what career do I pursue? Am I taking the right actions? Should I be going to more networking events? Just like there was no, there was such a lack of confidence in what I was doing and the actions I was taking. So I really had to take the time to acquire a whole new mindset pertaining to confidence, right? Because I was essentially living through this lens of fear, and that's what a lot of people get caught in, is that they're not taught to be confident. They're not taught that they should be optimistic and that things will work out in their favor. So as long as they believe that they will, and you continue to move towards your goal as if it's inevitable, like it's going to happen. It's not a matter of like, oh, like we'll see what happens. No, like it's going to happen. You see what I'm saying? Like there's such a strong difference between those two perceptions of life. Like we'll see versus like, no, I know it. And of course, like, there's only so much detail that you can, you know, have within your vision, you know, um, within your goal. You might have a goal to, you know, reach a certain amount of subscribers on YouTube, if you will. But then there's so much more that comes with that you just like never expected, right? As far as like community building and impact and, new relationships and, a stronger sense of motivation and inspiration within yourself because of the impact that you've been able to make. You know what I'm saying? Like this is just one example. There's only so much detail that you can have with your goals. But again, we wouldn't want it any other way because if you were to walk into a movie theater and know exactly how the film was going to unfold, like that's a horrible movie. The worst movies to me are the ones that are most predictable. You always like when the writers and the producers are kind of like, one step ahead of you and like they got you on your toes, and you know what I'm saying? And that's how you should view life in a sense. Not knowing every detail is one of the most exciting aspects of life, but at the same time, you still need to move within your life with such a strong level of conviction that you are a powerful being and that you can achieve whatever it is that you put your mind to because you're connected to this same divine energy that is responsible for all these trees, man, these coconut trees, these papaya trees. You know what I'm saying? That power lies within you, this perfect system that is nature, you know, that rains when the plants need rain, that brings out the sun when we need the sun. It's a perfectly balanced system. Yeah, perfect to say the least. Like, it's beyond perfect. If you can really come to an understanding of that and really make yourself familiar and intimate with the idea that Mother Nature can do no wrong. It's just your own power that's being used against itself, so to speak. Right? Because when you imagine certain things and you have, you know, talks with yourself pertaining to self-doubt. Ugh. Shit. So many flies out here. Sorry. Mother Nature. That is what's being projected into the field. Is that same level of self-doubt. You know what I'm saying? So you need to detach from all of those ideas that don't support the reality that you want to experience. You need to just let go, right? And the best way to let go for me, man, because honestly, bro, like that's always the thing that people like talk about is like how do you detach? How do you do certain things? There are infinite techniques, infinite. There isn't one way to do this, right? It's just a matter of like finding a technique for you, finding a technique that you believe is working, that gets you into this state of like an inner knowing that nothing can go wrong because you are doing it right. You know exactly what it feels like and you're going to embody that energy regularly, right? So the best time to shift your states of consciousness is during meditation, right? And I know there are a lot of people who, you know, may not take meditation seriously. You don't do it consistently, but I really, really encourage you to cultivate a lifestyle that involves meditation regularly. It's during those moments of stillness when you're like conscious where you can really make drastic changes in your life. Not externally right away, but internally. And that's what initiates the shift in your external reality in the forms of relationships, opportunities, right? More love, health, all these different things. So meditation is something that you cannot neglect. It's something that you can't just, you know, put off. Because if you tell yourself that you're too busy for meditation, but you have time to, you know, go to the cafe with your girls or, go play ball at the park or whatever. If you don't have that 10, 15 minutes a day to really set some time aside to be still, then you're not really taking your reality seriously, in my opinion. Because as I said, during those moments of stillness and quiet is when you can put a new belief system in place, right? When you can shift your identity and release emotional detachment to anything that isn't happening outside of yourself, right? Because a lot of us become so involved in this game of life that our emotions are so dependent on, you know, what we see or don't see. But that's why I always say, man, like you can receive a compliment by somebody or, you can receive some criticism by somebody. And with the compliment, you might feel flattered. And with the criticism, you might feel a little, a little bad or a little self-doubt or insecure. But what I suggest is to really train yourself to have a neutral point of view in both situations. Whether you're being complimented or you're being criticized, be completely neutral and detached from the opinions of other people. And that is such a powerful skill because you train yourself not to get too high or not to get too low, right? Because the people who get too excited and too enthusiastic, during good moments in life are the ones who like sink to rock bottom during moments of adversity, right? When in actuality, you should never allow yourself to get too excited or too low, right? It's emotional discipline. And it's interesting, right? Going into that concept of emotional discipline, self-discipline, the greatest form of self-discipline in my mind is emotional intelligence. And maintaining your energies and your vibration in a way that supports, the person that you're trying to become, the person who is worthy of experiencing the life that you desire. You know what I'm saying? But if you're so stuck and fixated on, the way things are supposed to be, and, it's not happening, and you're getting frustrated, you're getting angry, and as a result, you're putting self doubt into the field, right? Guess what? Nothing's going to change. Nothing is going to change because you are too attached to what you think is supposed to happen, or, you know, when things are supposed to happen, and it's not meeting a certain timeline. And as a result, you're getting frustrated. You're thinking about, the time that's passing you by. You need to detach. You need to let go. And you will be shocked at how fast things start to change. I'm telling y'all, man, it is the most powerful law of the universe, just knowing how to detach from external circumstances, right? It should not have so much control over you. But unfortunately, in most cases, people become so attached to their goals, they suffer for their goals as a result because of, maybe what they see online. They see their peers doing certain things, living a certain way. And as a result, that is now consuming their attention, as opposed to that time and energy and attention that could be going back into themselves, you know, during meditation, as I spoke on earlier. If you're on Instagram or TikTok scrolling, but you don't got time to meditate, you're playing yourself. Stop lying to yourself. Stop being so frustrated that shit isn't moving because you're not even embodying that sense of self-discipline that will contribute to your reality shifting faster, right? And the crazy thing about detachment too is once you actually know how to detach and can live life in this state of detachment, it's crazy how much richer everything becomes because you are just allowing. You are allowing things to be as they are, and as a result, you will receive. You don't need to work so hard. It doesn't need to be so complicated, right? But again, a lot of us have just accepted beliefs early on in life that in order to attain certain goals and experience certain things in life, we have to suffer. No, you don't. If you don't want to, it's time to let go. You're more powerful than you know. Just remind yourself every single day and attune yourself every single day with the power that is greater than the both of us, with the power that is greater than all, with the one consciousness that lies within every single one of us. And that's where your confidence will come from. Your confidence will come from the faith and the understanding that you have in this power. I love y'all so much, man. I'm gonna catch y'all in the next videos, KT.